A while back when looking over the different liveries in Formula 1, one really stood out to me. Maybe it was the way that the sponsors were positioned, or the fantastic use of the logo on each side of the car, or quite simply, the color. The 2002 Jaguar R3 is one of my favorite F1 liveries. Before the 2021 season, we rarely saw a green F1 car on the grid. Now, of course, I'm very happy to have the British Racing Green back on the grid through Aston Martin, but I wanted to take a closer look in this video at Jaguar as a team, as they stood out to me. I wanted to take a look at their story, what they've accomplished, and what led them to leave the sport. As maybe you've forgotten, or you're watching this video to find out. This is what happened to Jaguar Racing in Formula 1. We now travel back in time to 1999. And let's first go over how the team came about. The Ford Motor Company wanted to promote and advertise their newly acquired car brand, Jaguar, and saw the option of doing so in Formula 1 as a great opportunity, as the brand had great success in the past with their racing teams. And so Ford purchased the Stewart Grand Prix team in June that year. The Stewart Grand Prix team was founded by triple world champion Jackie Stewart and his son in 1997, with Ford already having a partnership with the team as their engine provider. The team struggled at first, then Rubens Barrichello scored a series of podiums in 1999, and Johnny Herbert took a win at the European Grand Prix that same year. They finished in P4 in the Constructors' Championship that year, so the team looked promising going into the next season. And so Ford rebranded the team as the Jaguar Racing Formula 1 team. Despite the branding, they stayed as Ford's official Formula 1 full works team. So let's take a look at how they did. The team was being managed by Wolfgang Reitzel, head of Ford's premium automotive group. And well, the extra glory and money that came with Ford owning the team was quite visible as of the first race of the season. Their driver lineup consisted of Eddie Irvine, the runner-up of the 1999 season, and Johnny Herbert. So how did they do? It's reasonable to say that the expectations of this lineup were not met in comparison to what the team had accomplished as the Stewart Grand Prix team the year prior. Jaguar would only finish 9th in the Constructors' Championship, only ahead of Minardi and Prost, who both failed to score points. A 4th place in Monaco was their best finish. Wolfgang Reitzel stepped down and was replaced with Bobby Rahal, an American racing champion and previous successful team owner. But the results did not improve from here. They went on to bring in more accredited names to the team, including 3-time world champion Niki Lauda, which did not bring them the results that they were after to boost team morale. While the team moved further back in the field come race day, the team decided to attempt to bring in technical director Adrian Newey to Jaguar. This is the man that's made 10 Constructor Championship winning cars in his career, 6 up until this point. And despite having a signed contract, Rahal was unable to complete the deal, when McLaren boss Ron Dennis persuaded Newey to stay with the team. Both Rahal and Lauda didn't get along, resulting in Rahal's resignation. The highlight of the season was Irvine scoring the team's first podium in Monaco, finishing in 3rd. This allowed Jaguar to finish 8th in the Constructors' Championship. There was just something about Irvine and Monaco with this car that always found a way to pull out a result. Sadly, things didn't turn out for the better in 2002 under Lauda's stewardship, with only one podium again, this time at the Italian Grand Prix towards the end of the season, which, spoiler alert, was their last podium in Formula 1. Ford began to rethink their involvement in Formula 1, questioning whether the costs were worth it considering the lack of performance and benefits it was bringing to their new brand. Let alone the fact that they didn't have any of the parent company's branding on the car to show that this was in fact Ford's team. Jaguar would once again improve their result in the Constructors' Championship, finishing in 7th place. Changes came along in 2003 when funding to the team was reduced. Lauda and 70 other staff were made to leave, and Ford set a deadline to see if any positive outcomes would happen from their involvement in the sport in the next 2 years. Otherwise, they'd pull out. With this, there was an improvement in the form of team director John Hogan, who had good management skills and was able to be more efficient in the usage of resources that the team was given. Apparently now they only decided to use the wind tunnel next to the factory in the UK, rather than going to Ford's in California. With a new lineup consisting of Mark Webber and Antonio Pizzonia, they would lead the team to a 7th place in the Constructors' Championship, with the highest finish of 6th place, which was earned 3 times by Webber. 2004 had more stability in the team's results. but they were unable to challenge for points on a consistent basis. Jaguar would finish 7th again in the Constructors' Championship for the 3rd year in a row, with their highest finish being in 6th place in Germany and in Belgium. This was also the year that for the Monaco Grand Prix, the Jaguars were fitted with newly designed nose cones to promote the film Ocean's 12. They installed diamonds on the noses of each car worth in excess of $250,000 to $300,000. And as you probably already guessed, one allegedly went missing after Clean's crash on the opening lap. During this year, Ford announced its reduction in its sports involvement internationally. Not solely because of performance, but also because Jaguar didn't advertise the core Ford brand. So they did the math and realized that there was little return on investment for the enormous amount of money being poured into the team. Ford chose to sell the team at the end of the year, to focus on their World Rally Championship operations. And so, the Jaguar Racing F1 team was put up for sale at the end of the 2004 season. The team was purchased in November by Dietrich Mateschitz. Him and his partners developed the acquired team to be one of which we know very well and recognize still to this day on the Formula 1 grid ever since: Red Bull Racing. So, despite the great new investments, the prominent names in motorsport behind the team, in hopes of creating a British version of Ferrari, progress faltered as drivers like Irvine and Webber found themselves locked in the midfield, prompting Ford to put the team up for sale in 2004 as funding started to drop. And as for me, although the car looked great and fast in photos, I know the true performance was not at all what Jaguar Racing were hoping to achieve during their journey in Formula 1. If you've enjoyed this video where I've taken a look back into the story of a Formula 1 team, let me know by leaving this video a like. Were there any other teams to suffer similar results when trying to break into F1? Let me know down in those comments, and while you're down there, consider subscribing to the channel so you can stay up to date on all our upcoming videos. And with that, I'll see you in the next one.